There, wondrous ones. So my video is there I am now live. So thought I'd do a quick video, although quick is not my strong suit. I like to gab a lot. Guilty Gemini here. And I am just at the end of my Canadian tour here. It's been this incredible 2 months returning to Canada, and I feel so full and fulfilled with everything that has transpired in these last 2 months. It's just been absolutely incredible to be back here in Canada, my home land in some ways, although I see the whole earth as home. But this is where I was born and raised, and my family is here and friends. So it was just amazing to come back. And when I think back about when I started setting this up back in May, I just made out a humble call that, hey, I'm going to be coming back to Canada if anyone would like me to share my gifts. And it was just incredible how many people reached out, to the point where I could not do all the things that were coming my way. And it was just so splendid to putter around to all these different communities and really be supported by the good graces of communities and friends, from renting cars to me at amazing rates to just putting me up in their homes and sharing beautiful conversations about what everyone has been going through, as we are truly in it now. We are in the great holy shift, the time that has been prophesized by our sacred mystic ancestors for millennia. And I also just want to leave some thoughts here on just the way moving forward. I don't know if I am alone in this, but it certainly feels like we've had this amazing summer. It's been absolutely incredible to witness everything opening up again. And yet I'm about to embark on Europe. And when I look at what's going on to our brethren in the UK, for example, with electricity bills being hiked up like 250%, and people having to choose between heating and putting food on their table, we are starting to witness, systemic collapses of systems. And yes, you could say some of this was caused by the pandemic and all the strain that it put on our civil societies. But we also know that the systems that we live in are unnatural. Capitalism, for example, with its obsession with constant growth, doesn't follow the cyclical cycles of nature of rest and restore and hibernation. And and that is why, we've reached this wall with the devastation of the environment, and this somber and sobering message now from Mother Earth that we need to figure out a new way to really live on a very grand scale, although it starts very humbly with our own individual and community choices. And it is also, I believe, we're going to see more of, the nuisances of the global elites who are us as well. There are still parts of our species who are, whether it's fear, I mean, fear is at the root of so much of our behavior. Fear to maintain some semblance of control and authoritarianism while we go through a shift that may shake the very power structures. I don't know, but I do expect there to be more kind of mandates in certain capacities that are going to be thrown our way. Just here in Canada, if you look at the rumblings within the government, all these foreboding messages about, maybe people should get the booster now every 3 months, and it's just like recharging your cell phone battery. I mean, I would hope at this point that enough of the public is awake and aware that we've been horrendously deceived. And whether that's by the shortcomings of our own lack of intelligence and logic, we are in quite a conundrum with capitalism, because capitalism has, grown its tentacles into things like healthcare, where now you have the profit motive trumping the motive to heal people. And the pharmaceutical industry has really strangled a lot of integrity out of medical science. And if we reframe this, because it's so important to zoom out and put things into context, if we reframe this and look at the time of prophecy that we live in, and I'm talking about the Mayans, even the Cathars had a prophecy about this time. We're living in a time where it was really predicted that there would be this great shift, and it would be a shift of awakening, an activation of human consciousness into a whole new way of existing and perceiving the world. And what we're seeing right now is it's almost like we're in this collective dark night of the soul. And I think the pandemia, prayers to everyone who has been suffering in whatever way, because there's many ways that people have been put under strain during the pandemia, lockdowns, mandates, death, illness. But I think if we zoom out and we look at everything that we've been through, and especially now that we're having a lot of, science coming in showing us that, the vaccines were highly ineffective. They did not do anything that they were promised to do. All these world leaders who told us, take the vaccine, you won't get infected. We now know that was not honest. We know that the lockdowns actually created more harm than good. On the grand scale, we're sort of being shown that we were very duped. And now that duping could be intentional, which I do believe there was some intentionality at play, especially when you look at how politics and the corporatocracy are so interwoven, so that the true virtue of government, which is to look out for the public good, is really corroded when it gets too entangled with money and profiteering. And then there's just the sheer ignorance that we didn't know. We didn't know, for instance, that there were many other integrative medicines that could have been brought together to help forge probably one of the most powerful preventative and curative healthcare systems that we've ever seen. And of course, a lot of us haven't grown up in a world where we understand the value of alternative and traditional medicines. And there's a huge story there, namely the persecution of a lot of our indigenous ancestors and those old traditional earth-based wisdoms of medicine. So this complementary medicine system is really what the world needs and what it will continue to need, and what people are choosing themselves, because never forget, you are sovereign to make your own choices. It's your body, you have a choice on what goes in and out of it. And I would hope at this point that we can do a lot of healing, because the divisions that have been thrown at us are very dastardly and very deep. People have lost friends. I have lost friends. I've had conflicts within my family because of my health choices. And this is really a challenge for how skillful can we be in our love. And I speak to myself in this as well, because there are still people I need to somehow reach out to and at least extend an olive branch. And if it is rejected, then you sometimes have to just hold your head on high and realize that this is life. That life is tough, and sometimes we go through these horrendous adversities where things can really radically change and shift. And I think we're going to be continually put under different pressures, and I don't want anyone to feel afraid by this, because really what is going on is something much deeper than pandemia, much deeper than political mandates, much deeper than the systems of government on the planet. We are a sovereign species of Gaia. Mother Earth is the true authority, and beyond Mother Earth there is the divine cosmos, source, great spirit, creator, whatever we want to call it. That is the true authority, and that authority speaks in your heart. Your beautiful, holy heart has 24-hour, 365 days a year access to divine, intuitive wisdom, the knowing of your own heart, the heart that is the master of vibrations, as the Taoists called it. And moving forward, this kind of intelligence, this gnosis, is going to be more and more relevant as we witness the authorities on the planet starting to become more and more helpless and hapless in their ability to strategically take our civilization into this much needed evolution, into a reintegration into the ecosphere, and also an opening to galactic consciousness and an evolutionary leap where spiritual consciousness is no longer some woo-woo hippie speak thing, but it's actually the practical arts and sciences of living in a more unified, coherent consciousness, the natural mysticism of our very reality. So I want everyone to know that no matter what changes are afoot in the world, no matter what challenges are happening, you are powerful. You are powerful beyond measure. And we have been incarnated into this time to flex the muscles of our soul, to really strengthen our souls like never before. And what better way than seeing the exposure of all of our collective shadow, which we are seeing right now. We are in this amazing opportunity to witness the deceptions of wrong thinking that have implanted themselves in our civilizations, the belief systems that do not work, that go against nature, for example. We are being called to be self-empowered through mastery of our own psychology, of our health, through holistic nutrition and movement medicines. We have never had so much access to wisdom and knowledge as we do through the internet. And I would also say that needs to be paralleled with access to the knowledge of our own being through the timeless arts of meditation and mindfulness, especially spending time in nature when you can so that you can bridle to the consciousness of Mother Gaia herself, who is our truest wisdom teacher, which is pretty much a universal value in all indigenous societies all over the planet. So if you're wondering what should I do when things happen, if there's food shortages, if there's more pressure by the government to get boosters and you don't want to, maybe you've already had the vaccine and you've had myocarditis or some other kind of dangerous harm that's happened to you and you're like, nope, I'm not going to do it again. Know that you can sit and be in contemplative space with your soul and you will be provided with guidance. And it's also very important that we start to come together more as communities and as groups in coherent meditative spaces that generates incredible energies of healing, incredible energies of just feeling mutually supported, that we're not alone, and we can empower the truest force on this planet, which is love. And as these systems fall away, it will really be up to our lovingness towards one another, our kindness to one another, that will really help us make this an easeful transition into whatever is on the other side of this, because it is a mystery. But what is not mysterious is that we have the power over our own choices to do what we need to do to live lives of wisdom, love, and beauty. And we can do that together. And the more we do it together, the more we come together in intentional reveries, such as festivals and music making and ecstatic dance, the more we lean on each other's support and bring forth a world where if people fall through the cracks, they just fall into each other's arms, the more we realize we can truly share our resources, whether it be money, tools, cars. We are being asked to come back together into a tribal intelligence, into a true sense of human family. And despite everything that we've been through to divide us on all these very emotionally driven issues, we are being asked to be mature enough to look over them, to transcend them, and process them if they are needed to be processed. And it's very important that our powers of love now are fully activated and that we treat each other with kindness and respect, no matter what kind of ire is thrown our way. We can take heart in knowing that when people are filled with hatred, filled with vehement emotions of rage, and they may come at you and even attack you, we know now through psychology that this is often the cause of someone being through a process of inner torment and they're projecting it onto others. So we can hold space for that and know that we don't have to take that on. And if there is a safe space that we can hold for others to vent and to go through a transformation through listening to them actively, we can hopefully provide those spaces and realize we are all in this together. And it's been clumsy, it's been fucked up, but my gosh, we have just started to come out of the dark ages. And if you are a student of the stories of our species, you know that the last 2,000 years have been riddled with so much suffering and misguided beliefs and struggle on all levels. And we're truly starting to now come into the first baby steps of, I believe, creating a true new golden age with humble beginnings, going back to the land, remembering the incredible fertility of Mother Earth. In some ways, it's so simple. And I wrote this poem in the last few years when I was living in Costa Rica called Paradise Found that I'm sharing in a lot of my concerts these days. And in it, I discuss, it's very simple in some ways when you hang out with friends who are farmers who work their land. Yes, you have to have systems to grow the food, but when you start to have this relationship again with the earth and you realize you just plant seeds in the land and things grow, just that simple fact alone, that giving and receiving that happens just by nature, you realize there's this incredibly primal and cosmic mother force that is the planet herself that is trying to take care of us at every stage of our life. She is there with healing herbs, with all the elements that keep us alive and organic, and the means to grow shelter and food. It's all there. We've been under a great amnesia and distortion of our beliefs that have caused us to leave nature, to leave the bosom of the goddess. And a huge theme and zeitgeist moving forward as we go through these holy shifts is going to be a return to her, a return to that great mother force that will hold us, sustain us, and protect us. So I invite you to hold that in your prayers as well. How can we all start to re-relate to Gaia in reverence and respect and love? So we'll see what happens in the fall. It's going to be, I think more adversities are going to be thrown our way. Me going to Europe seems kind of crazy in certain moments, just knowing what our brothers and sisters are going through over there. But at the same time, I'm witnessing so much beauty. There's so many amazing festivals that have been going on in Europe. I'm just super stoked to be there and just be in all the vibrations and just witnessing from afar through social media all the way that people are gathering in love and wisdom and beauty. It's just incredible to witness that there is so much hopeful magic being fostered in this world, and that we are powerful and beautiful and wise enough to go through anything that is thrown our way. And it is our destiny to overcome all these grand tyrannies that have been roaming and raging around the planet for millennia, this distortion in our collective consciousness to rule over each other with dominating power. That time is coming to an end. And so I appeal to all souls, no matter where you find yourselves, if you're a CEO of a company and you're starting to question the rapaciousness of your actions, it is a time now that we're entering into of great healing, a great restoration, the re-enchantment of the world. And it's a beautiful and also harrowing time of initiation. And yet, we wouldn't want it any other way. Just like going to a gym, we lift weights to grow strength. It is through these adversities that we will grow even more stronger and beautiful. So don't lose any heart. I'll be back in Canada next summer if all is well, but we'll see. The flow state is the state right now to be in. And know that when you are flowing, if you are living that contemplative life of reflection and meditation each day, you will be guided. So, yes, lots of healing to be done, and it's a great time to be alive. So, to all my friends and family here in Canada, thank you so much for embracing me in all the amazing ways that I've been held and supported while I've been here. And I'm so excited to be back and continue growing things here as I go on to Europe and then back to Costa Rica, which is my primary place right now. But I'm very much in a gypsy phase of my life as well. So we'll see what happens, and I'm excited. So sending you all so much love, and may Goddess be with you, and be glorious.